Hey guys, this is Filmsin again with Rooks, and today's guest is David. So, David, could you introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry. My name is David Knight. I get a profession under my full name, David Preston Knight. I'm an aspiring actor and writer in North Carolina in the United States. And I've been pursuing a career in acting and creation for about 3 years.
That's amazing. So, David, this is the first question I wanted to ask you. What was the first creative spark that you remember?
Um, which is weird because growing up, I was a shy, quiet kid, very socially awkward, had a stutter. So still have a little bit of it, but it's gotten better over the years. I remember in high school, we had to do some kind of uh, creative like skit or performance for English class. And I remember I researched and I dug into it. I thought I had a lot of fun doing it. It's like,
Hmm.
what stuttering every other word, I might be okay at this, you know. Um, that was the first little spark that I had, and after a while, I just was more focused on going to college and getting a good job and everything. But I wasn't happy doing that, so I
Hmm.
began pursuing it in other ways as I got older a few years ago.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you should always follow your heart. But yeah, no, that's amazing. So you told me like you were very shy as a kid. So when you were on the stage first time, were you like feeling very nervous, or it just like when you got on the stage, like you got in the zone and you just forgot about people or everything? How was that first time being on stage?
I was still nervous. I was definitely nervous because of the stutter, and I was trying to do it right because I don't believe in doing anything, half-ass. So,
Mm,
I'm like, so I'm trying to go through it and get it right. I'm like, it's very irritating.
mm.
But the
Was
English teacher was surprised. Like, look at him. Actually, he was kind of impressed. Like I was going out there and doing it. He's kind of shocked by that.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, I mean that's excellent. Like you do it, you feel more confident and you just, get over your fears and you get that confidence after doing stuff. So tell me like what was the factor or who was the factor who inspired you to go out there and pursue a career in acting or the creative industry?
well, I mean, I've been a fan of, what's called a cinephile, a movie fan for a long time. I like watching a lot of Scorsese movies, and I was a
Hmm.
big Daniel Day-Lewis fan. Though I never thought I'd, be an actor. I was doing a lot of side jobs while I was working at the bank, and I thought, well, they film stuff on my 10. There's short films shot here. Maybe I can be an extra or do a
Hmm.
small part for fun. I thought it'd be a bucket list kind of thing. I never thought that I want to pursue it like as a full career. I just didn't think that was it for me. I didn't think I, had to bill your time, whatever. But I decided to give it a shot right before COVID happened. Started submitting for stuff, and of course, had no idea what I was doing. Had no clue. Didn't get anything because I didn't even know what a good headshot was. So I had no idea what was going on. And then COVID happened. Put it to the side because everything shut down. And I started back. I took classes. I think 2023 for taking a few classes, and I just really liked it. I just kind of
Hmm.
felt I got the bug right away, and I had good days and bad days 'cause I was still learning. And even now, I mean, I have good auditions and bad auditions. But
Yeah, I mean.
so I just kind of fell in love from there, and I just began pursuing it ever since.
No, I totally agree. Like when you're pursuing a career in acting, you'll always have those sort of days, like, good days, bad days. Plus, you always like, learn new stuff. Even if you're like working in the industry for, I don't know, like 10 years, 15 years, you'll always learn new things. So what is one thing that you learned from your auditions that really was like a very valuable learning lesson or something like that?
Well, auditioning in general, it's a lot of patience and persistence because most of the stuff that you submit for just by sheer odds and probability, you're probably not going to get.
Mm,
So it's it gets you see a side, you sit and you prep for a side, and you submit it, and it's like you go through it and go through it and go through it, and but you spend like hours on it, knowing, okay, yeah, I'm probably not going to get called back on this, not because it's necessarily bad, but because there's so many people submitting. So auditioning, you realize you get used to, not hearing anything, getting rejected,
Mm,
um, and you think, well, this is you hear the stories, it's hard, but
mm,
to actually go in and submit and audition, and I've submitted for countless number of things. I've
mm.
auditioned for hundreds of things,
Yeah,
and you get like a handful of them.
exactly.
It's almost like crazy because you're literally trying for something that the world just doesn't want you to do.
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes, and I totally get it. Like when you say you submit for 100, like you get a handful, like even one out of 100, so 99 times you might get rejected, but it's about keeping doing that stuff and just like persisting and staying positive. It's not like you're getting rejected because you're a bad actor. It just people keep telling me like you get rejected because the director wanted someone else. That's how you try to stay positive in the industry. So yeah, so it's pretty tough, but it's also exciting when you actually get that part and you're on the stage or on the set. So yeah,
Yeah.
tell me more about the projects you have worked on.
I've done a lot of smaller stuff at this point. I've done some background on some notable TV shows like the Summer from Pretty,
Mm,
Weapons, The Death for a Day. I got some stuff that that was extra on some shows that hadn't come out yet. So
mm,
like Honey Wife season two, All the Sinners Bleed, a few
that's
things
interesting.
like that. Done a couple of short films for some like did one for UNC School of the Arts.
Mm.
Did one for Elon. Probably the biggest thing that I've done that anyone would have seen was a little commercial for Shoe Show,
Ah,
um, which I actually got last year when I was going through a kind of a tough time. I got cast for it, and it was a pretty cool experience. It was
yeah.
more like a real person kind of thing, but I
Mm.
grew up for a long time, and but it ended up being on Facebook. So like on the Facebook Reels, so I was able to share it and let people see. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I paid like $2,000 too. So I'm
Wow,
like,
that's
that's pretty
impressive.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
was actually going to ask you, my next question was going to be like, is there a project you're really proud of? So I'm guessing it's this one. Like it seems like you're really happy with this one, and I'm guessing like you really enjoyed being on this set.
yeah. It was fun. Well, it was noticeable because of the payday, obviously, and the
Mm,
exposure that what exposure I did get. But it was also, I guess I was going through a hard time when it happened, and I remember I just lost my car. I was very depressed, and I was
mm,
had to not be too dark, but I had to, have myself committed to a hospital. I was going through real bad depression.
mm.
And while I was in the hospital, my ex-girlfriend, who you can't bring your phone on the floor and
Right.
not be in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So she had my phone and they were texting me and calling me through there to check on my stuff.
Oh no.
So I actually got that while I was in the hospital. So
My
I
God.
thought, so she, kept that for me. So when I got out and I was feeling better, I ended up, talking to them and booking that.
Hmm.
So that came at a good time. Not only the financial stuff and the opportunity, but just from a very personal, emotional level. That was a
Yeah.
very big thing for me.
Yeah, that must have been like a really good experience, after like struggling for some time and then going through that and then you just get that opportunity. I think that's a good breakthrough. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that is like actually I'm glad that that happened to you. It's a nice thing to happen. So yeah, tell me more about like how do you like to work with directors on the set? So do you like a lot of instructions from the directors, like do this, do that, or do you like to be more like that independent sort of a performer?
I mean, obviously, every project has a different directing style.
Mm,
But on the short films I've worked on, they were student films, and they pretty much just told you where to go, and but they allowed you to like feel the character and just
mm,
play with things. And if they let you try something, they say, "Well, do it this way." Or because honestly, as an actor, your job, yes, you want to make the character real and feel it, but
mm,
when the director has a vision for the project, so you have to portray that vision to what they want on the screen. So you have to be flexible, be willing to move around and change things. Like you may come in thinking this is how it's supposed to be, but you talk to the directors, oh, okay, I see what you want, and then you got to kind of change it a little bit,
Right.
just to make it fit the whole plot.
Mm, agreed. So, for you, on a personal level, how much direction is too much direction?
Um, I mean, if you
It's a
micromanage
bit
every
tricky.
little thing I do, that's a problem. I mean, I've never liked being micromanaged, even like it,
Mm,
doing a regular job, 8 to 5 or something like that. Like a Norton job is, and how to get it done. I have my own way of doing it.
mm,
Yes, there's policies I gotta follow. I understand that, but look, I don't need to hold it like this or do it in that order.
mm,
I can do it this way, and then go back and do this, and that works best for me.
mm,
At the end of the day, best director understands what they want. And as long as they get there and they get what they want,
mm,
and because honestly, a director has a lot going on, with
um,
everything trying to manage the lighting and shots. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I
mm.
don't even know why you would want to be a macro manager because you don't have the time for all that.
Agree.
So if you,
Yeah.
if your actors can just go and do it and it fits with what you want, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think I really agree with that because if you're trying to control a performer too much, it just reflects on their performance because if it's not coming from their own instincts or from their judgment, it feels forced and mechanical. So I think yeah, I think that's a very good thing like for the directors also to remember that not to macromanage your actors. But yeah, so anyway, as an actor, how do you like manage the time between the shots? You know, like when you're an actor, there's a lot of waiting in between shots or takes. Like things are happening, they're changing the camera or lights and stuff. So how do you like manage that? Sometimes it gets too much, you know? So how do you manage that?
Well, I always say being on set is a little thing called hurry up and wait. So you gotta get there, make sure the wardrobe's good, any kind of makeup or hair check. Was I have no hair, so there's nothing to check. But people with makeup and hair get that checked out. Um, it's kind of part of the game. So I brought books to read. There's time
Mm.
I did a short film a few months ago, which was shot during the day, but I was working overnights. So I was pretty much like sleeping in between my sets because
Oh,
yeah,
quick
but
pause.
because this is the story. They reached out to me and they said, "Look, we want you to play this role." So I can do it, but I do work overnights in a job. If you
Mm.
don't mind being a little sleepy, I can do it. They say, we'll work with you. It's fine. So they knew. So I really was
Yeah.
napping between shots because it take a couple hours to get it set up. So I just doze
Wow.
off.
Yeah.
Or, if it's a big scene, like I'm
Mm.
going over the script and trying to really dig into it. If there's anything I'm missing or anything small that I want to add to it.
Yeah.
So every set's different. I mean, I play
Mm.
cards on set. It just depends on if I'm a background or if I'm a principal. It all depends.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. No, I mean anything that works for you as far as you get that shot right, you know, like you're on
Yeah.
you're in the shot and you're doing what you needed to do as far as that's fine. I think everything's fine. But is there like has there been any sets or any projects that you've worked on and you were like, I will never work with this director again or no?
That I would never work with them.
Yeah, because it was too much for me. Like their directing style didn't align with my values, or like maybe micromanaging. They're micromanaging me. Something. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, well, there's one guy, I won't say his name, but there's one guy that
Def-
I was going to act in a short film on. It was one of those little independent, volunteer things. He was a friend, so I was trying to help him out, But it was a very dysfunctional set. It was kind of messy,
Mm,
and the guy's a good guy, and I like him, and I don't. I think he'll, as he gets more experience, he'll get better, more organized with it. But
mm,
at the time, it was like, it was I believe it was right before it was real bad. It was a storm was coming in. And long story, I won't get into it too much, but
definitely.
it was
No,
a
fair.
mess, and everyone it was miserable for everybody involved. I don't think he wanted to turn out that way, but
Mm,
I ended up not doing the film because he scheduled reshoots. I ended up doing something else that was a paying role, and I'm like, well, I'll come afterwards. and they hadn't got anything done yet. I'm like, okay, well,
Oh, okay.
maybe it's better if I don't be a part of the project.
No,
But
that must
due
be
to
tough.
transportation and whatnot, I had problems. I didn't have a car at the time, so it's like,
Hmm.
it's a lot back for me. I can't be doing that right now. But
No, fair
I mean,
enough. No, I think
and even then,
yeah,
like, as he gets more experience and, gets more time and more equipped and a better crew and stuff, maybe I will go back. But
but no.
I'll definitely think twice about it.
Fair enough. Like, I mean, as an actor, it's very important for you to feel safe in, not like comfortable in the traditional sense, but like mentally safe and comfortable because I think that affects your performance. And if the environment is messy or chaotic, I think it shows in the actor's performance because they are stressed or nervous and stuff like that. So I think that is very important. And obviously it's your choice and you get to decide who to work with and who not to, but yeah, no, I think like sometimes you get really good directors, sometimes it's just stressful, it always
Mm.
happens. But yeah, anyway, talking about like acting and stuff, is there like any ritual or anything you do before going on to the set, like maybe in your dressing room or while you're getting ready or putting the makeup on? Is there anything you do to prepare yourself?
No, not a ritual per se. I just try to make sure I'm prepared to do what I need to for the scene and be in character. Make sure I'm in character, make sure I'm just ready to. I mean, I'm definitely not a full-on method guy by any means because I have a wife and I can't just go and hide away for 2 months in a log cabin. But
Fair
um,
enough.
I just kind of try to keep the mindset of character and try to understand what's going to be present, what's going on in the scene, and make sure I just try to hit my marks and everything. And
Yeah.
then, once you do that, if the director wants to see a little something different, deviate, you're already in that mind space, so you can still do that as a character, not to reset it.
Hmm. Definitely. Amazing. So do you have like any advice for aspiring actors based on your experience?
Um, the advice I would give is, um, again, I think the big thing I would tell people is just you have to be persistent to the point where it's almost pure stubbornness. Like, I mean, it's not for a thin, if you're thin skinned, this is not for you because there's a lot of rejection, a lot of back and forth, a lot of inconsistencies, and it's very hard to get those opportunities. Even like I've been in classes of people that I thought were phenomenal actors, like
Hmm.
much better than really good actors, and
Hmm.
I see them, and they're not getting cast. It's like,
Hmm.
wow, I mean, if
Must be
they're
tough.
not getting cast and stuff, then
Yeah.
what am I going to do, right? So you wonder about stuff like that, and it's like but you also have to understand that it's not. Another thing I would say is it's not necessarily, and unfortunate as it is, as we know in the corporate world, the most talented person doesn't always necessarily get cast, right?
Hmm.
Maybe because they look a certain way or they sound a certain way,
Hmm.
or maybe because or the vice versa for you, maybe you don't look or sound a certain way,
Right.
keeps you from parts.
Hmm.
So you just kind of have to navigate and find your strengths and look and submit for stuff you think you'd be a good fit or a good look for. You kind of have to lean into the Hollywood, you know, typecast a little bit. I
Hmm.
know that's not something you would want to do. That's not great advice. I understand that, but to get started, you may have to do that at first, just to see a role you think you can do and just go for those, and gradually anything you think you can do, you
Hmm.
submit for.
Fair enough.
Um, and just
Yeah.
and accept the fact that you're probably not going to hear anything back. Probably going to get turned down.
Hmm.
Um, and just it's very few people get success overnight. It just doesn't
Fair.
happen like
Yeah. And I think like overnight success is like for me, I think it's a myth. I mean, people who get that even have to work really hard to reach that point.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But no, anyway, yeah, I think that's really great advice. I think persistence, 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 like those are like the keywords for any actor. That's what I've
yeah.
discussed with so many actors who have been on here. So I think that's really great advice. And thank you so much for being on here. And like the tradition dictates, before I let you go, we're gonna play a small game, which is everyone's favorite, two truths and a lie. So you're gonna tell me two truths and one lie about your creative journey, and I'm gonna try guess which one's which.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
let's
I've been
see.
thinking about this as you sent it to me, so I'm trying to think.
Mm,
Um, so three things, two truths, one lie.
yeah, can be
Um,
anything.
let me see. I hmm, I fly to Cal. Okay, we're good. I fly to California a lot. I've met Josh Brolin. I used to be a baseball mascot.
What was the first one? I think your internet connection just dropped out for that.
The first one was I fly to LA a lot.
Hmm. And you've met Josh Brolin and you get to be a baseball mascot, right?
I used to be a baseball mascot, yes.
You used
That's the third one.
let's see. I'm gonna guess probably the first one is a lie.
Yep, yep. In fact, I've never
Oh,
actually flown at all. I've never flown before.
amazing. Oh, there we go. Finally, I managed to guess something. I'm so happy.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, maybe I'm just not good at the game, but
Oh,
I've
I'm
never
like,
flown before. So,
oh no, I think it's fine. It's just my lucky day today, I guess. But no,
okay.
no, it was super fun talking to you, and thank you so much for being on here once again. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. And I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, ta-da!